The shockwave from Jim Farley's warning. It's not every day that an automotive CEO admits to mistakes, especially when billions of dollars are at stake. But that's exactly what Ford CEO Jim Farley has done in mid-2025, sending a huge warning to dealerships and signaling that Ford is finally recognizing pricing errors, overproduction, and missteps in its electric vehicle strategy. For Ford buyers, this could be the most important turning point of the decade. Price drops, incentives, and model rebalancing are starting to ripple through Ford's lineup. But Farley's message isn't just about sales. It's about survival in a fiercely competitive market where Toyota, GM, Stellantis, Tesla, and even newcomers like BYD are taking chunks of market share. The warning is blunt. If Ford dealerships don't start moving vehicles, if pricing doesn't adjust to consumer realities, and if customer trust isn't restored after years of recalls and markups, Ford could be in serious trouble. This video explores the full story, from the Bronco's confusing pricing changes to the $10,000 cut on the Bronco Raptor, from Ford's discount strategy on the F-150 to its risky $30,000 EV pickup gamble. Along the way, we'll bring in expert insights from industry analysts, dealer networks, and automotive journalists to explain what's really happening and what Ford buyers can expect going into the second half of 2025. Ford's recent struggles: overpricing, recalls, and dealer backlash. Ford has had a tough run in the past few years. Despite strong brand loyalty, its decision-making has often backfired. Overpricing. Nearly every SUV and truck received hefty price hikes from 2021 to 2024, pushing vehicles like the Bronco, F-150 Lightning, and Explorer out of reach for average buyers. Recalls. 2023 was the worst recall year in Ford's history, with more vehicles recalled than any other single year in the company's existence. Sales slowdown. Summer 2025 has seen sluggish sales across key models, forcing dealerships to pile up inventory. This combination of problems has eroded trust among customers. Many Ford fans who traditionally pay a premium for trucks and SUVs began looking at alternatives from Toyota with its reliable Tacoma and Tundra, GM with Silverado and Sierra price incentives, and even Korean brands like Hyundai and Kia. According to Michelle Krebs, executive analyst at Cox Automotive, Ford's main issue has been arrogance in pricing strategy. Ford assumed customers would pay whatever price was set because of brand loyalty. But loyalty has limits. The market is far more price sensitive now, especially with interest rates still high. Buyers are doing the math, and Ford hasn't always been on the winning side of that calculation. This recognition is what led Jim Farley to send his warning, not just to Wall Street, but to every Ford dealership across the US. The Bronco case study: price drops, confusion, and inventory surplus. The Ford Bronco is one of the most high-profile examples of Ford's pricing problems. When it relaunched, the Bronco was a smash hit, a rugged, retro SUV that went toe-to-toe with the Jeep Wrangler. But by 2025, cracks in the strategy were showing. Walking through dealership lots, you'll find rows of Broncos, from base trims to Badlands editions. The shocking part? Prices are inconsistent and confusing. Used 2024 Wildtrak Sasquatch, priced at around $57,995. New 2025 Badlands, MSRP of $70,000, discounted to about $65,000. Base 2025 Bronco 4-door, around $44,570. This creates a strange pricing overlap, where used models compete directly with brand new ones, undermining confidence. Customers are left asking why a new Bronco should cost nearly $70,000 when slightly older models with low mileage sell for much less. According to Carl Brower, executive analyst at IC Cars, this confusion hurts sales more than Ford realizes. Buyers want transparency. When a used Bronco costs the same as a new one, or when trims are priced inconsistently, it creates hesitation, and hesitation kills sales. Why the Bronco Raptor took a $10,000 MSRP cut. One of the most surprising moves for 2025 is Ford cutting the Bronco Raptor's MSRP by $10,000. This isn't a minor trim-level rebate, it's a massive acknowledgement that Ford overpriced the SUV from the start. When the Bronco Raptor launched, many dealers slapped $20,000 to $30,000 markups on top of MSRP. But demand quickly dried up once the early wave of wealthy buyers had their fill. By 2024, new Bronco Raptors were sitting unsold on dealer lots, while used ones on auction sites like Bring a Trailer were selling for less than sticker price. Farley, frustrated by this, began directly monitoring Bring a Trailer auctions and even sending screenshots to dealers who were charging markups. His point: if used Raptors are selling under MSRP online, then new ones can't be justified at inflated prices. The market is speaking louder than the dealers. This $10,000 price cut is a warning shot. If Ford is willing to slash a Halo model's price, other trims may face similar corrections. For buyers, it's a rare win. Specialty SUVs that were once unobtainable are now far more realistic to purchase. The dealer markup battle. Farley. The showroom tactics dealer markups have been one of the most controversial aspects of Ford's business. While manufacturers set MSRPs, dealers are independent franchises and can legally add market adjustments of thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Farley has publicly expressed disdain for this practice, threatening to reduce allocation for dealers that gouge customers. Still, some dealerships continue the practice, especially for limited-run models like the Mustang Dark Horse or F-150 Raptor R. According to John McElroy, veteran auto journalist and host of Autoline, Farley's fight with dealers reflects a larger industry problem. The franchise model is outdated for a digital age. Tesla sells directly, setting transparent prices online. Ford can't fully do that because of dealer franchise laws, but Farley knows that constant markups damage Ford's reputation long-term. This struggle is part of why Ford is experimenting with online sales for EVs, although the transition is still rocky. The F-150 discount strategy, Band-Aid or real fix. Moving beyond the Bronco, Ford's flagship, the F-150, is also showing cracks. In 2025, some F-150s carried discounts as high as $8,300, bringing prices down from $64,000 to around $56,000. The problem is structural. Once Ford raises MSRPs, it can't easily lower them without damaging resale values for existing owners. So instead, Ford relies on discounts, rebates, and dealer incentives, a strategy that feels like a band-aid rather than a permanent fix. Experts say this cycle isn't sustainable. According to Sam Fiorani, VP of Global Vehicle Forecasting at Auto Forecast Solutions, constant incentives train buyers to wait for discounts. Ford risks becoming a brand where people refuse to pay full price. That erodes profit margins and undermines premium positioning. The F-150 remains America's best-selling truck, but even its dominance isn't guaranteed if pricing continues to outpace customer expectations. Ford's EV gamble, the $30,000 electric truck promise. Perhaps the boldest announcement from Jim Farley is Ford's plan to launch a $30,000 electric truck on a new EV platform. Farley pitched it as a modern-day Model T, a universal, affordable vehicle that could serve as Ford's next big revolution. But will it work? Experts are skeptical. The Mach-E struggles. Despite early hype, Ford's Mustang Mach-E requires heavy discounts to sell. The Lightning problem. The F-150 Lightning started strong, but sales collapsed once range limitations, charging issues, and high prices became apparent. The Maverick comparison. Ford already sells the Maverick, a hybrid and gas-powered small pickup that starts around $30,000 and sells with virtually no discounts because demand is sky-high. That last point is crucial. If Ford already has a $30,000 Maverick that's successful, why would buyers flock to an unproven EV version at the same price, especially when EV charging infrastructure remains unreliable in much of America? According to Ivan Drury, Director of Insights at Edmunds, EVs don't just need to be affordable, they need to be compelling. If the Maverick already fills the $30,000 truck space, Ford has to prove why its EV equivalent is better. Right now, that case isn't clear. The Mustang Mach-E and Lightning struggles dealership lots across the US tell a clear story. While Broncos pile up, Mach-E's often sit forgotten in back corners of lots, their window stickers fading in the sun. Discounts of $3,500 or more are common, yet sales remain sluggish. The Lightning faces an even tougher battle. Once hailed as the future of electric trucks, it has been plagued by software issues, range complaints, and sky-high pricing. Demand dropped so sharply that Ford had to reduce production in 2024 and 2025. This is a reality check for Ford. Pushing EVs too aggressively without ensuring affordability and practicality risks alienating the very truck buyers who have defined Ford's success for decades. The Maverick success story: why simplicity wins. In contrast to the Lightning and Mach-E, the Ford Maverick has been a runaway hit. It's small, affordable, fuel-efficient, and practical. Everything buyers want in a compact truck. Base XL trim, around $33,600. Lariat fully loaded, about $42,525. Discounts, none because demand is so high. Dealers can barely keep Mavericks on the lot. This proves a key point: simplicity and value sell better than complexity and hype. Customers don't want gimmicks. They want reliable, affordable trucks that fit their lifestyle. As Stephanie Brinley, principal analyst at S&P Global Mobility, explains, the Maverick is proof that affordability and practicality still win. Ford's challenge is replicating that formula without overcomplicating it with EV technology buyers aren't ready for. The Ranger controversy: missed opportunities in the U.S. market. The Ford Ranger has also seen strong interest in its latest generation, especially with the Ranger Raptor drawing attention. But Ford recently revealed a Super Duty version of the Ranger, a smaller truck with the towing capability of an F-250 for overseas markets only. American buyers won't get it. And that's a missed opportunity. Experts believe Ford is protecting the F-150 and Super Duty lineup from internal competition. But in doing so, it's leaving a market gap that rivals like Toyota or even Ram could exploit in the coming years. As Mike Caudill, auto industry analyst, puts it, Americans want more choice in midsize and compact trucks. A Ranger Super Duty would have been a game changer. By not offering it here, Ford risks handing buyers to competitors. Farley's leadership, admitting mistakes, and resetting strategy. What makes this moment unique is Jim Farley's willingness to admit mistakes. Few CEOs openly acknowledge pricing missteps, but Farley has admitted Ford overcharged for too long and is now working to reset. His dealership warning is part of a broader strategy to bring Ford back to reality. Lower MSRPs where possible, crack down on dealer markups, and focus on affordability without sacrificing innovation. But the question remains, can Ford execute? Expert insights: what analysts say about Ford's next moves. Across the industry, analysts are cautiously optimistic. Affordability must lead. Ford cannot afford to repeat mistakes of overpricing. Buyers want reasonable MSRPs, not inflated ones, followed by discounts. EVs must prove value. A $30,000 EV pickup only works if it truly outshines the Maverick. Otherwise, it risks failure. Dealers must cooperate. Without dealer compliance on markups, Ford's reputation will continue to take hits. Recalls must decline. Reliability remains Ford's Achilles heel. If recalls continue at record rates, pricing adjustments won't matter. Implications for Ford buyers in 2025 and beyond. For buyers, Farley's warning is both good news and a caution sign. Good news: prices are coming down. Broncos and F-150s are seeing discounts, and specialty models like the Bronco Raptor are far more attainable. Caution: resale values may take a hit as Ford continues to correct pricing. Buying a 2024 at inflated MSRP could mean significant depreciation. For those in the market, late 2025 may be one of the best times in years to buy a Ford, if you play it smart and shop for models where discounts are deepest. Conclusion: will Ford's mid-2025 reset be enough? Jim Farley's dealership warning is more than just a memo. It's a public admission that Ford needs a reset. Overpricing, recalls, and EV missteps have damaged momentum, but Ford is taking steps to course correct. The success of this strategy will hinge on whether Ford can keep MSRPs realistic, deliver EVs that genuinely compete on value, rein in dealers who damage trust with markups, rebuild reliability, and reduce recalls. If Ford succeeds, 2025 could mark the beginning of a revival. If not, Ford risks losing ground in trucks and SUVs, the very segments that built its empire. For buyers, the message is clear: stay patient, stay informed, and take advantage of the discounts appearing now. The second half of 2025 may be the moment when Ford finally starts listening to its customers again.